Fox News panelists joined forces on Friday to condemn Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson for politicizing her role. Jackson said in a Saturday interview ABC News Live Prime anchor Lindsay Davis that she was aware that people are watching to see how she will perform as a Supreme Court justice. Republican National Committee senior advisor Danielle Alvarez and Fox News contributor James Freeman said on America's Newsroom that Jackson has strayed away from focusing on the law by catering to others rather than just the Supreme Court. "We just heard her comment about her performance," Alvarez said. "If she wants to perform, she should go back to Broadway." Jackson became the first Supreme Court justice to debut on Broadway in December, NPR reported. Alvarez also noted that even fellow liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor would not join Jackson on Tuesday in opposing President Donald Trump's administration's efforts to reduce the federal workforce. "It is dangerous for her to try to politicize the bench," and she was smacked down by her liberal colleague, Justice Sotomayor, who said the president's executive order was written to apply to the law, to reorg and focus on the application of the law, she said. "So I really think she's out of her skis here. She really needs to focus on doing her job and not trying to be an influencer and talk about her emotion. She's there to interpret the law." Freeman agreed with Alvarez about Jackson's comments to ABC News. "I think that clip kind of explains the whole problem, which is she's playing to an audience beyond the court. She's not so much making legal arguments as crafting soundbites for the New York Times or MSNBC," Freeman said. And then she actually quotes the New York Times recently as if it's some legal authority trying to smear the court saying it's siding with moneyed interest, then admits she had no evidence for that. She should be apologizing to Sotomayor and all the other justices, and you notice they're not joining her. She does these lone dissents. The other liberals don't want to be associated with her because they're not really legal arguments. She said it was an existential threat to the rule of law to get rid of universal injunctions. He continued. "Nowhere in the Constitution, didn't even exist for the first 200 years of our history, but this is sort of soundbite era." Jackson was the sole dissenter to the Supreme Court's ruling on the Trump administration's efforts to downsize the federal workforce. Sotomayor agreed a president cannot restructure federal agencies on their own, but said the executive order just directed agencies to craft plans for reducing the workforce consistent with applicable law. Host Dana Perino noted that Associate Justice Amy Coney Barrett strongly rebuked Jackson for her blistering dissent in Trump v. Casa, which limited district courts' uses of nationwide injunctions. "She's now been reprimanded by her colleagues. This is a problem," Alvarez responded. "It is dangerous for her to do this from the bench, for her to politicize her position. It is not the intention of her appointment to the highest court in the land. It should not happen." "Yeah, I think we may need a few more White House memoirs or maybe depositions to find out whose bright idea it was to appoint her to the court," Freeman said. Perino asked if any books about former President Joe Biden have discussed his decision to appoint Jackson. Freeman said he was unaware of any covering that topic. "I think we need an explanation. I mean, maybe we got the signal when she started out by saying she didn't know what a woman was that kind of set the tone for the scholarship she was going to bring," he said. Jackson said that she could not define the word woman at her 2022 confirmation hearing, stating, "I'm not a biologist."